All right, knitting books part 2. So, knitting books part 2. So, New York City years. So, this is New York City years. This is when I could buy my own books. So when I moved to New York City, so fast forward 5 years, I moved to New York City. This is when I really started getting good at knitting. Was this book. This is where I started making my own designs. This is where I learned how to master Intarsia, and I started making my own designs. Because this is mastering color knitting. The biggest thing that this book does not tell you, and I don't think any book tells you, so it's not this book's fault. I think it's every book's fault. Intarsia, which is color knitting, they do not tell you it needs to be in stock knit stitch, which is every other row has to be garter and purl. It cannot all be garter. It cannot all just be the basic knit stitch. It has to be switching from garter to purl rows. Otherwise, color knitting does not work. Intarsia does not work. Like you can't get these nice patterns, and it has to be, you have to get the little triangle things. Otherwise, there's no wrong side and right side, and it just doesn't work. And I had to figure that out the hard way from trial and error, because it finally took me this book, rereading the beginning part over and over and over again, and trying to figure out why the heck this first, the basics of color knitting, trying to figure out why this pattern was not working for me. Why the heck this was not working for me. I could not figure it out. So well, you read through all the color palette stuff, choosing a color palette, the fundamentals, carrying the yarn over, all of that, starting a new color. They say all of that. And, you go through all of the 3-color triad complementary colors, split complementary colors, analog colors, 5-color combinations, 6-color combinations, all the fun stuff. Standard knitting, sewing your wild floats, all the fun, all of this, stitch patterns and color play and length of floats and whatnot. This is not scribbles, I promise. This is them. And all of this fun stuff. Into their color play and whatnot. All of this stuff. And they have a crochet hook for some reason. Well, yeah, there's a reason for that. I know what reason. And then they start you off here. And the treasury, because then I use this. That's why I have a marker there. Because this is the pattern treasury of... I'll talk about this in a minute. Anyways, they do not tell you that you need to be in stock knit stitch for any of this. So when I started, I had to figure that out on my own through trial and error, that you need to be in stock knit stitch. So yeah, no book tells you that, I've realized in my lifetime. So yeah, I figured that out the hard way. Anyways, I'm going off on a total tangent, and you guys are like, what? Anyways, once I figured that out, I mastered color knitting, and I could make my own designs, and that's what opened up the entire world of this book and this entire binder, where I had to get a new binder that was bigger, 2-inch binder or 1.5-inch binder, because my color wheel just fell out, but because my binder was too small. My 1-inch binder was too small. It got too small because I have so many designs that I've made myself. And I'll make a separate video for that video because I will show you the designs I still have in person that I haven't given away as gifts. So yeah. Yeah. Anyways, back to this book. This one, very useful. I use these in my designs sometimes as borders. These are borders, and these are very, these are Perry's, but I use them as borders. And they're very useful. And these waves, you might notice from my other video of introductory for my waves of my, from my design of my, my Poseidon, from my Percy Jackson design here that I made, my waves. That came from this book. That was one of my borders here. Let me find the right one. That was the actual one I used for that border, and I had to turn it, kept turning it to be the one that I used. Let's see, it wasn't these. These get more complex as they go. And I'm really going far away from it. It's not these. I'm just showing you guys what this is. It was one of these guys. I've used these in so many things. This one I used in my grandmother's one as a flowers, as stems and flowers in a border for my grandmother's. Designed one, I think it was this one, I'm pretty sure it's this one, right here that I used for the Percy Jackson one. And I rehashed it a little bit to make it fuller and seem more connected. For that, I redesigned it a little bit, but I used that as my reference tool, for that piece. But yeah. So yeah, I don't need to show you every little thing in this book. Anyways. And then of course it just has different things and patterns and whatnot in the rest of the book. For color knitting, yay. So, my favorites, 200 fun things to knit. So these are the tiny things, and then this one, the 100 fun things to knit, little knitted projects. This one was another one I gotten from that library, from a, not a library, book, it was a Japanese bookstore. It's one I got the color knitting book from. I've made a lot of these little, flowers and things that you can make from it. And you can just make a lot of these, it shows you by the knitting needles amount, like 2 or 3, 1, 2, or 3, what level you have to be at, and how difficult, the difficulty level it is to make these things. Acorn was the first thing I ever made out of it, was the acorn, my stuffed acorn. It's one of the things in one of my bags there. My favorite thing to make out of this book is the common blue butterfly, that I love making. And then it has little sea creatures and stuff. And then it has some lacy patterns here that I've made before. But I've made them as gifts, so you're not going to see them. But yeah, I've made this autumn leaf before. It came out huge. But that was a gift as well. And I thought about making these before because they're really pretty. I've used that as a reference. That was my grandma's as well, and I put that one border around it, and I used different colors for it. I used a black background, and I used different colors for this with blue highlights in the flower, and I used that one for flowers to be like a border around it. It was really cool. I might attach photos for that. But yeah, and then it gets into the flowers and things and how to make them, and I put my notes in it because I don't like writing in these books. So I've put my notes on sticky notes and things, or like different stuff. And I've put, I'll put like little sticky notes on about, SK2PO slip 1, knit wise, knit 2 together, pass, slip 1, slip stitch over, and little things like that and stuff. I'll put little notes about, because I don't like writing in the books as much. I did when I was younger, especially when it was my book, but this material also, it doesn't do well with pencil for like the pages. So a lot of times I won't write on it so much, but here's that leaf I had my own little notes about. And I have my own little things. But yeah, so this is just fun stuff, fun things to knit. Leaves and bugs and little sea creatures and stuff, cute things, flowers and stuff. This one I love. I'll probably do everything in this book at some point. This was a Hoboken Library book in New Jersey when I lived there. This one and the 750 Ultimate Knit Stitch Bible. These two were library books. I actually used Christmas money my mom had sent me one year, I think last year, to go ahead and order these offline so I'd have my own copies. Little did I know I was moving back to Indiana, so it was a good move on my part to go ahead and order my own copies of these books. Because again, I was renting them out so often from the library, they were practically mine already. So I actually just went ahead and bought my own copies of these books so I'd have my own copies and not have to rent them from the library so often, so I wouldn't have to worry about a due date anymore. So I did it the right way this time, guys. I learned my lesson. Hooray! I didn't repeat my old mistakes of waiting until I lost it or something. I was young. I was a senior in high school. Stupid. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, yeah, so Little Knitted Projects. Freaking love this thing. I'm currently in another little video. You're going to see the Foxy I'm working on currently on this book, out of this book. I'll show you a little piece of him right now, a piece I'm not currently working on. His little belly that I have done, and his little tail, and his, it looks like a garbled mess because of all the string, because I have to take all the string until I attach it all together. But yeah, anyways, here's a, it doesn't look like a garbled mess. Here's an ear, and here's a foot, and one of the feet, and an ear. And then the face I'm working on right now on the needles, and I'm not going to bring those over because, then I have to move everything, and it's like, no. It's like, nah, I'm not doing that right now. I'm going to leave it over here. But yeah, I've made this watermelon. He turned out huge. He's one of the things over on that side. I will make a separate video for opening this book and showing you what I have and haven't made out of it and what I have at the moment and what I've given to people. I've made a million of these little rainbows and stuff, and whatnot, and yeah, so amongst those things will be things from this book as well. But yeah, this one's a pride and joy. I freaking love this book. This is like, I had to have this book. I had to buy it. It's like, yeah, I have to. There's not a choice. It's like, I fell in love with this book. It's freaking awesome. But here's the Foxy that I'm currently working on. This is the fox I'm currently working on. So yeah, I'm just using a red instead of red and orange because I don't have a red orange. I have red and orange. So I decided to use red. So yeah, but yeah, so yeah, I have notes and stuff. I'll give a little flip through here, like little notes and things I've done for certain ones. Like I have a little note on this little bird. Where'd it go? I found notes on something else. So sticky notes and stuff I put in them. Probably the doggy. Oh, there it is. Doggy. Like I have little notes and stuff I'll put on them because of the, silkier material of the paper. I don't want to write on it, so I put notes on it. And plus I can move them around then. And see what's underneath and stuff. But yeah. So, but yeah, I've made lots of these and I plan on continuing to make a lot more of the things in this book. So I freaking love this book. It continues to challenge me and I love it and I love this book. Um, 750 stitches, and the Ultimate Knitting Stitch Bible. This thing is freaking awesome. I have lots of, things so I can always flip to whatever I need. This thing is amazing. I'm just going to go to the little bookmarks and stuff, because this thing, if you're a real knitter, this will be amazing to you. It shows you from the basic stuff. I won't go over that, obviously, to like reverse stitch, duck knit stitch, and different rib things, and all this other garter, all, like, it goes all these different things that you're not going to understand a word of how amazing half of this stuff is. Like, this stuff is awesome and incredible and amazing. I like looking through it if I want something new to do or to try a new stitch. This thing has it. Man, this thing has so freaking much. I don't even know if you can see half of what I'm showing you. But man, this thing freaking has it all. Like, if I want to try one of these, got it right here, and I can just sit down and try it and use it for a new design or a new thing I want to make or something, and try it or something, then cool, I can use one of these. So I bought this book. I bought my own copy of this book because I wanted it, because it's like, dude, if I want to try and make a new design of my own or something, or do something, then here you go. It has tips in it and stuff and things, and and different places and stuff. It has all sorts of different, and this is just the regular stuff here with you just have purl. This isn't even when you get into, ooh, a diagonal bobble stitch. Sorry. I need an, okay, nah, yeah, no. Don't let me start looking. And then I was like, I'm going to forget I'm recording. I was like, yeah, I own the book. I can look through it whenever I want. But yeah, there's so much freaking awesome stuff in this book. It is so stinking awesome. This is the enlarged Basic Stitch. This is one I want to do sometime because it looks really cool. And it is going to be freaking hard. It looks difficult. And it would be a very cool challenge to do, though. It looks like multiples 18 and 10. Like, oh my god. It looks fun because it looks easy once you start really reading the pattern. It looks pretty simple, really. But it looks difficult with this. You're definitely going to need your cable stitch. With all the overlapping happening in it, you're definitely going to need your cable stitch. I think, actually reading it now, really, I don't think, I might not need it, the cable stitch needle. But yeah, I want to do that one, tackle that challenge someday, because that looks really fun. It looks fun, challenging and fun at the same time. Just because, like, some of these are so cool. Sorry, I need to not stop and look. Because I was like, ooh, what if I could just do that right now? It's like, but it looks so fun! Oh, but yeah, some of these are so freaking cool. But yeah, then like this, I have cable. These are, once you get into cable stitch. Oh yeah, that wouldn't be cable, because then this is the cable section. Getting close to it, but not quite. So yeah, that isn't cable. I wouldn't need my cable needle yet then, because this is cable once we get into the cable stitches. Because it tells you on the side here that's not the cable section yet. It just looks similar enough to it, but not quite. This is when you get to cable stitching, where you would actually need that. So it just looked like it, but it's not. It's the illusion. It's just the illusion. But yeah, cable stitching, man, that would be almost a nightmare. Woven cable stitch, oh my gosh. But man, all the cool stuff you can do, and it just gives you the pattern. You got the pattern. You can do it. You can do it. It gives you everything you possibly need to do it. You have the pattern. You've got everything you need. Anyways, you're just like, I don't need to see every single page of this book. Because that's like a lot. It's like 200 and something pages. But like 300 pages. But yeah, and then here's some lace stuff. You can do lace work. And I'll show you like a handful of those. You get some really pretty lace stuff, which is, just where you get like more holes and stuff. The lacy stuff. I don't do much lace work. I don't know. I just don't. I can. I choose not to. I'm just doing chunks now. I'm just going chunks of pages at a time. And then you get, here, why don't I have this marked? I guess I just don't. And so you get some stockinette stuff. I've used some of these patterns too. Some of these, this is where we get to more of the color work stitches. This is Intarsia that you get to work with more. And yeah, so that cool stuff. See, that one's really pretty. I like the blues in that one. I have to get a lot of pink yarns because I have a lot of friends who love pink. So it's like I have to have a lot of pink yarns because of that, because I have a lot of friends that like pink. So if I want to make things for them, I have to have pink yarns. This is stuff like you can do beaded stuff and other cool things. Seed stitch work. I'm reading off the paper. Edgings and trims. Here you go. That's just not... yeah, cool fringe things and whatnots that, yeah. See that stuff for yourself for a second there. Because that kind of stuff is all unique to themselves. And I don't really do edgings and trims. I guess someday I might do them. But the other stuff is kind of more what I do. I don't make anything with edgings and trims really, other than the regular, you know. But I may use them someday. Someday, you know, you never know. But yeah. So all this kind of fun stuff. So that's that book. And then the big bad, Vogue Knitting. Where are we on time? 21. Oh gosh. I spent too much time. Okay, so Vogue Knitting. The Ultimate Knitting Book. This is basically the same thing as this, except for fancier. So they show you how to do knitting. They show you how to do like buttonholes and other cool stuff like that. I have like tons of bookmarks in here to show you like where those things are. So I'm just gonna go by the button things. I bought this book myself from that Japanese bookstore as well. So like again, like the different stitch pattern things, in case I want to go there. I do use this book. It's not that I don't use it for buttonholes and stuff like that, because it does have stuff that the Knitting Bible does not have, the one that I have. It has different cables and things. So it does have some stuff that one doesn't have. So there's a good reason why having different books provides some different information and tips that you might not have otherwise. Some Intarsia stuff and tips about bobbins and things and catching your stuff on that. And it has some pattern things, like there's a deer pattern I might not have otherwise, and some other cool things. And other cool tricks and tips that I might not know otherwise. And this is lace. So this is kind of more teaching, because like it's not focused like the Knitting Bible. This like goes over a little bit of everything. So this is lace, but it's just talking about teaching, kind of. It's Vogue, you know. It's actually going over tips and lacing borders, stitch count and lace borders, adjustments, how to stretch them out, and blocking lace pieces, circular knitting. Now it's going into circular knitting and all of that. Like and working in the round, plus with ladders and working with that. So it's teaching a lot of cool stuff that you don't necessarily, steeking. What the heck is that? A steek? That is something I'm gonna read later. I didn't even see that before. So like I said, you learn new things. You learn a lot of new things. Vogue, this book is chock full of information that none of my other books have necessarily. Little things I know already, but also little details I don't know. So, you know, tons of good information in it. This I'm gonna entrelac. I'm planning on learning this at some point from this book, because I have noticed this before, and this is what it's gonna look like, because I have this marked because I want to learn this. Entrelac, to learn how to do this, because this looks really freaking cool. Because it looks so freaking cool. in the round, and oh, this looks so freaking cool, how to interlac. And it's like, that looks really freaking cool. And it's like, I want to know how to do that. That is a whole different, like, method I didn't even know about. I didn't even know that was a thing. Adjustable ring cast on. Yeah, so some of the stuff I have labeled, and I don't even know what it is. Advanced techniques. So yeah, this is why Vogue is Vogue. You know, double knitting. I know about double knitting, and I know what that is. It's just very complicated, and I haven't learned it yet. Because there's lots I don't know, which is why the Vogue book is good, because it has a ton of things I have not learned yet and have not gotten to tackle yet. All this fun stuff. This is about making pieces of clothing and stuff and things. All of this is advanced stuff, project levels and different things. It's all very gauging and abbreviation terminology and stuff, and this goes in there. From crochet to knitting, all the different stuff, and correcting errors. So this part's all about correcting errors and finishing. From finishing pieces, different questions and answers and stuff, how you do things, all sorts of things from crocheting to knitting, from your pieces, designing sweaters. So from designing your own sweaters even. All fun stuff about all of that. All sorts of cool stuff about that. So this is Vogue, man. Like, frickin'... Like, you're getting all of the, like, model stuff, like, how the hell you do any of this. Like, they're giving you all the tools. Like, this book is worth getting, because eventually I will get to this level someday. And so me having this book early on is good, because I will pull pieces and bits and information from it, slowly but surely get to this level someday. Maybe not ever, maybe never, maybe just little bits and pieces. Here's buttonholes and things. Multiple different ways you can do buttonholes. This part, I know, this is edges and different things too and stuff. But yeah, buttonholes, I might have passed already. Pockets, how to do pockets. Pleats and tucks, and all sorts of other cool stuff. Amazing, and zippers, and how to do washable fabrics and stuff. Designing shawls. Oh my god, no. Okay, now we're gonna start closing the book. But yeah, so design, yeah, it's like crazy. Designing accessories even. How to design your own hat and things, like, holy crap, and your own gloves and mittens and freaking. I haven't really looked through this book in a long while. How to design your own sock and measuring the foot for it, and jeez, for the whole leg, how to do a knee over the knee socks, embellishments, yeah, with the beads and stuff, yarn weight versus bead size, what the heck? Oh dang, spool knitting. What's spool knitting? Huh. Knitting with sequins. Cool. Fringe, tassels, pom-pom. Well, those I know how to do. But, caring for your knitwear, you know, obviously. And all the fun. Then you get all these fun, graphs that you can copy on their printer and stuff that they provide you with. But yeah, the Vogue is worth it, and eventually I will get to this level. This is advanced. I am to this level at this point. I am to this and this level, and this challenges me enough. So these two challenge me enough, and eventually I will get here, maybe someday, but not quite. Not quite there yet. So this one the Vogue I don't touch very much right now. But eventually I will touch that one more eventually. But so far, these two are kind of where I am right now. And I'm happy to be there. So Vogue is future. If future me, maybe, someday, possibly. But that's bigger things. I don't like making bigger things as much. Unless they're like baby stuff. Like, I like making small things. But yeah, so that is my knitting journey in regards of where I am currently. Oh, that's the wrong word. So this is my graphs. This is what I use for my handy dandy book, which I will make another video for showing that off. My graph papers that I have for some of my designs and stuff. And some of my flowers and stuff. Sometimes I do my graphing on. But I do a lot of it. Most of it I do in here, and I rip it out. And I rip it out, and it ends up in here. So they're not in here as much anymore because they're in here. But yeah, and then I have this guy too. Oh yeah, he has a no set him for writing. But yeah, but most of them come from here and go in there, or it's just on this paper, the loose leaf version, and it goes into these guys here, which are yeah, so all that fun. But yeah, yeah, so yeah, so all that fun. Yeah, so show a little bit of my tools here. This is like, are you seriously doing this last minute? In the end of your video? I'll do it in the next video. About my needles and stuff, about my knitting needles and some of my other stuff I have. I'll make a whole separate video for the tools. Because that's like very last minute. Most of you didn't make it to the end of this video anyways. If you did, congrats. You listened to my babblings. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah, so I'll make a separate video for a lot of other things. Yay! This is Sayla Lioka for life signing out, and I will see you next video for this guy. If I didn't post this one beforehand. And then for some of the other yarn videos with actual yarn in them instead of the books. Yay!